Nand, the Rave Dad. Welcome to the Underground Society podcast.
Hi.
What was your dream job growing up?
A Power Ranger.
Power Ranger.
Why the fuck not?
That's true, actually.
I know I have this power. I know I bring a certain energy to the table that nobody else has. And my mom, I remember confessing to her, this is what I actually want to do. And fun fact, she actually took me to an audition when I was a child for That's So Raven.
Oh, no way.
Somebody asked me this question, why do you do all these crazy, fun, energetic things? And he was like, tell me in 3 words. I'm like, all right, okay, loaded question. You want me to answer my entire life goals of moving to LA and everything in 3 words? Okay. I'm gonna wait for that.
Yeah.
Just wait for it. You're gonna see, and just there she is. It hit me, making people feel.
How did the whole Rave Dad character come into play?
I enjoy melting people's faces off, but I've definitely turned it into more of a taking care of your friends fully. You know, sip your water, don't chug it. You don't want to throw up right now and then go down a spiral of oh my god, everyone's looking at me.
What the hell? I wasn't prepared for this.
Wait, what? Really? Really? Actually? Yeah, see, I was right. You were gonna fail at that.
Nand, the Rave Dad. Welcome to the Underground Society podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great today.
Good. So most people obviously know you from your TikTok or Instagram Reels or even the podcast potentially, I'm Peaking. But I kind of want to talk about the journey of you getting there. So kind of to start this off, I guess, is take me back to the point of your life before you really got into the whole content creation. What inspired you? What did your kind of day-to-day kind of look like back then? And take me to that point of your life.
I'll take you back even a little bit farther than that too, because I've tried the whole content thing once before. This is definitely not the first time I've tried this. It was 2 times actually. I'll be brief. 2009, YouTube just started. I tried to do the whole YouTube like videos and whatnot. Me and my buddy, we started this channel called Destructive Debates because we were always arguing with each other. But his mom was like, "You guys are always arguing about the stupidest things." I'm like, "Well, I think Burger King is better than In-N-Out, and he thinks In-N-Out is better than Burger King," and it was just dumb stuff like that. But unfortunately, within our very first episode, keep in mind we were in 9th grade. Within the very first episode, we just went on a tangent about those 2 things, and then we started talking about some of our friends, and then we started talking about someone who's really inappropriate with the freshman girls. He was a senior, and then we started saying not so nice things of dude, you're disgusting, you should go die. When you're in 9th grade, you don't know that that's cyberbullying, especially 2009 when YouTube just started. It wasn't even a thing yet.
Because YouTube came out, 2006 was when YouTube actually launched, and then 2009 was when most people started. Yeah.
I definitely remember kind of getting some flack from that, because only some people saw it, but one of the people who did see it was that guy's older brother, who was my friend also. And he was upset and disappointed in me, and obviously he didn't get angry, but he was like, "Man, I'm disappointed." And then being a 9th grader, 14 years old, you're like, "Oh no, I did something wrong. I didn't know. I really didn't know." And we shut it down. Shut it down so fast. It didn't even get a start up. And the second time I tried to do content was 2012 on and off until 2016 when I was throughout college, and then beginning of my first year in LA. I was trying to do the whole David So kind of vlog style where sit in front of camera, record, be way more animated than you have the energy for, and it's draining. I was trying to force something that just wasn't working.
At that point too, with all the energy and unless you're actually that person, it's really hard to keep up for a long extended period of time. It's that's why it's so important to just be yourself when you're on camera. Because being yourself, that's the easiest thing for anyone to do.
Yeah. The thing is, I was trying to be myself, but I was trying to force all these topics that I either didn't know too much about. It just got burnt out because it was just, there was no niche yet. It was just talk in front of camera, look for something to say. And I didn't really understand the social media, algorithms or space yet. At that point, I was still pursuing acting. I was still pursuing film work.
Which I do want to get into. I'm curious to that aspect because I saw that you were an actor and you kind of started in that. What was your dream job, I guess, growing up? Because obviously your life has turned into the content creation. You have your online personality and stuff like that now. But when you were growing up and you were elementary, middle school, what was your direction? I know it's probably, for me, it changed a million times between then and what I actually ended up doing. But what was kind of your ideas when you were younger?
As every little boy, a Power Ranger at one point or another. Police officer, but not actually. It was just I just want to be a hero, that kind of vibe. And then I think I went in the direction of wanted to be a surgeon, then wanted to be a doctor. At some random point, I wanted to be a janitor for some reason. At least that's what my mom tells me. It's just like, I don't know. I wanted to help people. Like that's how she saw it. Is like I always just wanted to like be a service. And then my dad actually got diagnosed with cancer halfway through high school. Like I think I was in 11th grade. And that's when I was like, cool, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an oncologist. I think it's an oncologist. And then like I finished high school, went to community college, transferred, and then unfortunately dad did pass away. And then the motivation to be a doctor just went with it. But at that point in time, I was like already, doing theater. I was already acting. I was already, performing and doing all those things. And I had a really good friend at the time who just kind of like sat me down one day and he was just like, what exactly is it that you want to do? Because I wasn't going to class. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't know what I want to do with my life anymore. And he kind of like noted and pointed out that like I couldn't be caught dead waking up at like a 9 a.m. 10 a.m. class for something in psychology or health or whatever. But like I'd wake up at 3, 4 in the morning to get to a 5 a.m. call time and be on set for like 14 hours.
Yeah, like
I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd leave the kickbacks and parties of the night before, like at 7, 8 p.m. to make sure I could get to those call times. So it just kind of showed that that's where the passion was,
Right.
But at that point, I was already like halfway through my BA for psych, so I just finished that out.
Got it.
And then moved out here.
Going to the music route and stuff. I probably would get my psych degree. That I love self-improvement for one is kind of where it's originally stemmed from, but then also just helping other people. I mean, and that's the difference that I want to make within the EDM industry is be able to, and you guys do an awesome job at that too, but just being able to talk about like real life issues. But yeah, I've always loved psychology. And like I said, it stemmed from me wanting to work on myself, but that's so interesting that you wanted to do that. I had a question for the whole doctor surgeon thing. I was just trying to put myself in your shoes when you were saying that. In my shoes, I'd be like, man, like, attaching me wanting to be a doctor to my dad and trying to, be the hero or whatever. Because you saw that even, his doctors and stuff couldn't save him and he still passed. Did that have anything to do with like steering your decision away from it? Where you're like,
yeah, definitely.
I could be a hero, but that doesn't mean that, everyone can save everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a twofold, to be honest. Like, okay. I want to say, how do I put it? The motivation was just gone, like the motivation was just gone because like, obviously I wanted to cure dad specifically. And I was young. I honestly thought I'd be able to do it or he'd last long enough for me to do it. And then he passed and then I transferred into a new school. I transferred into the university and I couldn't keep up with the classes. Like I almost dropped out within my first quarter. Because my grades dropped so hard. And this is not even medical school yet. Like, this is undergrad in, like, biology. Like, clearly there was... And it's not, like, for a lack of trying, too. I was really trying, but there wasn't just a connection of desire.
It didn't work for you,
like, yeah, like, it just wasn't wanting to do it. Because, like, as soon as I realized that I didn't want to do that and I focused just on psychology, all my grades went up. Like, it was just... I was just focusing... My goal my goal wasn't there, so the process wasn't happening. You can't have a good process or a good journey moving toward a nothing. Like if you have no goal, you won't even know why you're doing anything in the in between.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Once you switched over into the content creation, going from a surgeon, probably not so much like popularity or like fame that comes with that sort of job, and now you're doing something that you do have some popularity, you do have some fame, like. Was that ever a goal for you, or do you care about the fame? Like, how does that affect you?
I don't know. Just because, like, once I did switch, like, the mindset switched around 2014 after Dad passed, and to be an actor, to perform. Keep in mind, Davis is a very it's a big school, but it's very small.
Did you go to Davis?
Yeah, I did.
Oh shit, nice. I was like 30 minutes from where I grew up.
The performing arts was not exactly the biggest program there,
right.
But that didn't stop me, and that just kind of made me a big fish in a small pond. You know what I mean? And my mom, she always knew. I remember confessing to her and telling her, like, this is what I actually want to do. And she's like, I know. I always knew. Like, dude, you're so dramatic. You're so dramatic. And fun fact, she actually took me to an audition when I was a child in my hometown for That's So Raven.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No idea if I got it. Because when Mom took me home, Dad was like, nope, fuck that. Fuck that. Because he wanted me to have a normal life, and he couldn't see the security of it all yet, Like if you could see me now, I have no doubt he'd be proud.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
it takes parents some time usually to like start seeing this success to like truly start like, okay, let's trust in you, let's put the trust in your process. But until then, it's like it was one of those careers like music, content creation, acting, even like anything in the creative field. People are always like, all right, like good luck, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
But to like circle back and answer your question, actually, like I don't know. I feel like if fame came with it, that'd be cool, but it wasn't the main goal. You know what I mean? Like, so I forgot who said it to me. It was probably an acting teacher who said it. The theater will make you good, movies will make you famous, TV will make you rich. Which one you work in, that's just what it is. And for me, it's always been about like the arts. Like having fun, giving expression. I'm gonna wait for that. Yeah. Just wait for it. You're gonna see, and just there she is. So actually, when I was graduating Davis, somebody asked me this question: Nan, why do you act? Why do you MC? Why do you do all these crazy, fun, energetic things and like perform and all that? And I was about to answer him, and he was like, "Tell me in 3 words." I'm like, "All right, okay, loaded question. You want me to answer my entire life goals of moving to LA and everything in 3 words?" And it hit me, making people feel. Because it connected everything to like the fact that I wanted to be a psychiatrist at some point, the fact that I wanted to be a couples counselor, a sex therapist. At some point, I wanted to produce music, and I'm still working on that. I don't know, like working with teenagers in mental health and adolescence. I've worked with like kids before. Like I used to be a teacher at some point. So it's everything, even now with content creating and acting, film, what have you. Every story I've tried to like live and create has been for the sake of making people feel, helping people learn how to express themselves more. I feel like a lot of people would be a lot happier and a lot more mentally stable if they just trusted that they could be emotionally open.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who grow up in situations that they feel like they can't be safe doing that. You know what I mean? Like, luckily, I don't know. It sounds like you were raised by a great mom and stuff, but luckily my parents have always had that safe space for me, and I'm so grateful for that. But a lot of people don't have that privilege to have that safe space. So yeah.
And I think that's why I do everything I do, because I want people to feel safe. I want people to express themselves, and I will say this is why one of the my favorite things that still makes me cry every time is like when I'm at a festival and somebody does come up and they're just like, this is my first festival. I'm here because of you. I feel safe because of the content you put out of how to take care of myself, take care of my friends, and showing the underbelly of festivals. Like, I know a lot of people are like bitching and whining about some of the drug content that myself and some of my peers might make, but it's like, what would you prefer? I lie and make it seem like festivals are the safest place in the world?
Yeah.
No, like that's not going to be an authentic authentic representation of what it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I try my very best not to glorify the use of drugs and whatnot. But, like it's better to talk about it, make fun of it, so that first and foremost, we can shine a light to the fact that it exists. Because you don't want some young new raver thinking, oh yeah, this is all perfect, beautiful, sunshine, rainbow, shows up, your friend's literally ODing in the corner, but you didn't know that people did drugs, so you weren't aware that you need to like Narcane them up right now.
Narcane, yeah. And I think I talked to obviously Devin as well about this, but just like the negative stigma that comes along with like some of the content you create, and I was like, well, and at first before I had talked to either of you guys, I was like, I kind of had that kind of misconception, and looking further into what you do and talking to both of you guys individually, I was like, oh, they're actually coming from a place of like, they're just trying to help people, man. They're trying to help people be safe, and they're trying to just be real and authentic, like you just said. And I think it's, instead of, it really changed my mindset and outlook on, you guys as creators. It's like, oh, wow, now I really respect what you do, because there's no one out there that's really being that transparent about it. And I think it's awesome that you guys are providing resources and stuff like that you guys do to help try and keep people safe. But
I will recognize that sometimes some of the jokes or sometimes some of the videos, they get, I miss the mark. Sometimes I recognize I can miss the mark. And sometimes, like, let's be real here, like, it's social media. You have to play the game a little bit.
Can be entertaining too,
Exactly. Like, you got to play the game. Like, I know some people who only speak on educational stuff, and nobody is seeing it. And look, I'm the last person to give a shit about like views and follows and whatnot. But if nobody's seeing it, then I'm not able to reach more people to educate them and show them more or bring them. Because like I want to open up the music festival industry even more so and bring more people in. Like this is what we were talking about earlier, like making people feel like these new people coming in, this is an experience that they will not get anywhere else. And I want them to have that. But I need you to know that you need to be safe.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So what, talking about keeping people safe, how did the whole Rave Dad character come into play? What's the story behind that?
Actually, a long time. This is high school. I
oh,
didn't drink.
Really?
I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. I didn't do anything in high school. So, but I still wanted to go out. I was still a rebel in the sense that like, yeah, I'm not going home at 5 p.m. I wanna go hang out with my friends 9, 10 p.m. and I had a car. So I was always the DD. Literally always the DD, always taking care of people. And I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I was always researching what it is that people were doing. Why does how does alcohol affect your body? How does like weed and MDMA? How do these things affect your body? Because I was curious to see like why, and it would help me figure out if I wanted to try these things at some point. And that just kind of stuck. And then I just kept being the DJ even into college, and then moving out to LA. And I'm not sure when, but I think it's just because I had been raving the longest at some point with that group of friends that I had at the time, and I was always taking care of them. And I don't know, like it just kind of stuck of like, I'm the rave dad. I take care of everybody. And then like I want to say it was like a year ago when Devin convinced me to start making EDM content in general, because like it was everything to me, but I just wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping him with all his videos and stuff. And then what just resonated with me the most was the rave dad aspect of being a raver. Like I enjoy melting people's faces off. I enjoy making sure that their role feels even better, but they feel safe, and making sure that just sip your water, don't chug it. You don't want to throw up right now and then go down a spiral of like, oh my god, everyone's looking at me because I just threw up. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You just upchucked. That's just water. It didn't even hit your stomach.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I've been in that situation.
Yep.
I guess my next question to lead into that, since it is kind of a character that you leaned into, and we've seen obviously more in the mainstream type media, Liver King, Andrew Tate, guys like that. But they really lean into a character. Did you have any sort of like game plan when? I mean, obviously, I know it started in high school and you didn't really it was just kind of a thing. Back then. But once you actually started using it as a character in social media and stuff like that, did you have kind of a game plan, like kind of a model after? Or something similar to like a Liver King?
Maybe recently.
Okay.
Maybe recently I've been leaning more.
I just think it's so genius. I've seen those guys and I'm like, holy shit, that's smart.
Yeah. I think maybe recently I've been leaning into the rave dad thought process, because like there have been a couple of like companies that have reached out to me specifically for like products that revolve around healthful living, or like taking care, like earplugs, for example. Like who better to promote ear health than Rave Dad, who's all about taking care of yourself. And I feel like Rave Dad, technically speaking, was just a character. Technically speaking, Rave Dad is just to help you make your role better. That's actually what it's supposed to be. But I've definitely turned it into more of a taking care of your friends fully. Like I learned this at Okeechobee. The original reason Plur even exists being that 20, 30, 40, whatever years ago, people were dying all the time. So the concept of Plur was created so that you could keep your friends and family alive. Like it wasn't just, oh, let's shed candy, let's be nice to everyone, let's say excuse me. Like, yes, that's what it looks like now, but Plur has always originally been for make sure that person's not dead, because you could go to a festival for 3 days and that person's been sleeping since day one and you didn't realize that they were dead this whole time. That's what no Plur means, when you don't even know if that person's alive. That being said, I've definitely like I purposely turned Rave Dad into this concept of like, check on your friends, check on your peers, check on that person right there. Like, be looking out, help people from overheating. Yeah, like 90% of the time, you don't even need to share your water. Like 90% of the time, people have water. Just fan them.
They just need air.
Yeah, a lot of people just overheat. That's just what it is.
I've been in that situation too, where I'm like in the middle of the crowd or something, or like near like the front rail or something. It's freaking hot, and you're just drenched, and you're like, dude, I really don't want to go that way because I'm not gonna be right here where I want to be. But it's so freaking hot right here, and sometimes like it's someone spraying a little bit of like mist in your face and fanning you immediately helps.
Yep.
What has been one of like the biggest misconceptions or misunderstandings that people have had about maybe you or the character even?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I can't say the character in specific, but just being a content creator in general, there has been a misconception. I mean, I feel like this is anybody who does content and anybody who might be, for the lack of a better term, in a celebrity and or in the acting space.
Right.
Everyone forgets we're human too. Everyone really does forget that we're human too. Like sometimes I'm working, sometimes I'm probably under the influence of something, or I'm tired, or I have a bad day, and someone says hi, and I unfortunately don't make the best first impression, and now I'm like, he's a piece of shit. He's not what I thought he was. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, no shit. Like everything online, I record when I'm in the best mood possible. But like, I'm also human. I also have anxiety. I also have issues. Like, meeting me at this moment. Now, don't get me wrong. If you meet me 7 times and I'm kind of a piece of shit to you, all right, maybe the stars are just aligning in a way where we're not supposed to be friends. But like, like I tried my very, very best to like, be as sweet and kind and humble to anybody that I interact with. But I'm also human too. I make mistakes, and it's simple as that. People I feel like like I don't know if misconception is the right word, but I do just want to use this phrase. Like a lot of people feel entitled. Yeah. And I feel like because I'm in the social media space and they have access to my life, they feel like they're entitled to, it's your job to come say hi. It's your job to take a picture, blah, blah, blah. Like, no.
No, it's my job to create content. Yeah. That is not my job.
Like, going to these festivals, saying hello, literally everything I do is a choice. I'm allowed to do it. I'm not obligated to do any of it. It is all a choice. Like, nobody is entitled to my time. Am I going to give you my time? Sure, why not? You haven't given me a reason not to. But technically speaking, you are not entitled to my time.
Yeah. Talking about, you get into acting and stuff too. Like, if say your career in acting took off and you became ultra famous, like, most of those people aren't going to be out in the crowd. They're not going to be, talking to their fans. They're going to be backstage protected by security. Like, that's like, to be in the position you're in, I'm sure that's even more of a it's kind of like an in-between space almost, where like, you are a part of the general public too, but you have enough notoriety and like fame or whatever, popularity, that like people do feel like, that'd be rough, man.
I mean, I don't know how to connect the two, but I feel like imposter syndrome is something I've struggled with pretty much my whole life. Just because like whether it's my relationship with my brother or just I don't know, just being around so many like smart and capable people, and like I don't know, maybe it's just an anxiety thing. Like, because I mean, I struggle with ADHD. I have ADHD, and I've definitely coped with it for many years because I definitely wasn't medicated for it for many years. So it always felt like I was operating at 120% and still behind. So I always lived in that mind space of work harder. It wasn't only until recently where I started work smarter. I don't need to work harder. I just need to work smarter. But if I work hard and smart at the same time, wow, that might triple my speed. But I don't know. Like I feel like I'm starting to step into my power and gain a voice that I'm proud to have. Like I've been scared of having an opinion. I've been scared of speaking up. And I know the imposter syndrome like steps in and out. It's just like, oh yeah, you're just like in other people's shadows, or you're just like there's I will say the first 6 months of making content, oh, you're that guy in Devin's videos. Yeah, that can get to you at some point. You know what I mean? Like I've worked really hard that nobody says that.
No, I'm my own individual.
Exactly. But for sure, nobody says that anymore, and I've created a name for myself, and only recently have I been able to feel that like, oh wait, I do have a voice, I do have an audience, and I don't need to be afraid to say I can do this. I can do this. I can get this done. I can make this happen.
In what ways has it like, I guess, quote unquote, reared its ugly head? Like, wait, how's it like shown up for you in your life? 'Cause I know like it happens differently for different people. For me, it was, I actually just talked about this, I think, on a couple episodes ago, but how like when I first started the podcast and I had my personal Instagram page and I had the podcast Instagram page, for like the first year and a half, I never really posted anything about the podcast on my personal page just because I was embarrassed I didn't feel comfortable fully stepping into like, okay, this is my identity, or some of my identity is found in this, like, this is what I do.
I think the imposter syndrome for me mostly shows itself in the form of like when I'm communicating via email or like with companies and whatnot. I overthink it way too much. Obviously, like, I'm always scared they're gonna say no. I'm scared that they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I don't want to work with you for this, and that reason, or oh, I've changed my mind. I think that's how it was showing itself. Or maybe when I'm making videos or having an idea, I won't end up shooting it, or I'll shoot it and like, why am I making this particular idea? Like, it's just not gonna stick. I was just putting too much pressure on myself to make sure that like, oh yeah, all of it has to meet this specific standard. When in reality, no matter what I produce is still mine and it's there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I guess I feel like I just didn't trust in myself, or trust that it was good enough yet, or trust that like me being attached to it was good enough.
Yeah, your work and attaching your identity to that work. Yeah. You were like the proudest of that work quite yet. Yeah.
And I will say this happened the other day, and I try not to think about it, but it was a little bit of a dick punch when I saw it. I was making the media kit for our podcast, and I was putting each of our individual followings on all our accounts next to each other. It's dick punch when you see like 300K, 200K, 90K, 8K.
Yeah.
Like I'm not too upset about it anymore. I mean, I'm not that upset about it, but when you see that, it's just like, all right, I got to work harder. And then I get stuck in that mindset of like, wait, no, work smarter. You can find a way to like grow and keep doing what you're doing. And it's just a number.
Yeah. Playing the long social media and stuff, it's such a long game, and people, when you first get into it, you don't realize that.
You're like, it's such a long game.
Yeah, super long game. I was gonna bring up, doing the emails and stuff. We talked a little bit before the interview, but the Chat GPT stuff will probably help you a lot with that.
Oh yeah.
Can you just explain like what Chat GPT is and how you've used it?
It's an AI. It's an AI software. There's an open forum one that anyone can use, but then there's also the paid ones that are not even expensive. It's like a monthly $20 or something like that, and they're just way better. Put simply, it's an AI that can like create almost anything for you. Like, for example, I just went to Okeechobee recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since I was going solo, I was like, all right, I want to have a whole bunch of ideas, blah blah blah. And I just literally typed in Rave Dad ideas. I literally put in Rave Dad ideas. It wasn't the best because a lot of them were stuff I'd already done before. And it was like, Rave Dad 30-second content format comedy for TikTok, and it made a bunch. And then original ideas and tell me to like, can you write this letter out to this company as a proposal on having me work with them for say this Rave blah blah blah. Eloquent email, like
done. Yeah.
Like it's actually, and obviously I tweak things a little bit because I want it to sound more me, but it sounds already very human.
It's so weird how AI works. It's like, there's no like, what's the brains behind like, how does it come up with, and it's like write Word documents in 30 seconds. Like, well, how does that even happen? Yeah. It's wild.
They probably like inputted it with all this other information. Yeah. It probably has access to Google.
It pulls it together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Does it run off a Word document, or what does it actually run off? Or how do you?
It was just a browser.
Just a browser.
The one that I've used is just a browser on like Google.
Interesting. I've got to try that out, man.
Yeah, definitely take a look. I feel like everyone should take a look because it could streamline the process for a lot of work for a lot of people. Like, because let's be real, like sometimes you just have an idea, but you don't know how to expand on that idea. You don't know the right words to expand on it, and then when you put in Chat GPT and it pulls it all out, you're like, oh, that's how.
Mm-hmm.
That's how. Like, I will say, I have at least one or two friends who are still in school, and they threw their a prompt in, and it wrote their essay for them, and they got an A.
What the hell? Holy shit!
Damn, like, probably not the best, but like because they need to learn how to do it themselves. But like at the same time, if AI doesn't go anywhere, in terms of like having it, well then we don't need to learn how to do stuff like that.
It's almost like a calculator for math.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah. It's like a calculator for math. Like it can just calculate whatever it is you need.
That's crazy. Dang. Freaking I can't wait to see where all that shit is in like 10 years. Yeah. That's gonna be insane. Running our world. Back to the imposter syndrome stuff. What do you think was like, I guess, the root of the problem for you? Where did it really stem from?
I don't want to put all the blame on my elder brother, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but he definitely was hard on me and expected a lot because he was projecting his own issues onto me for sure. Like he was expecting a lot from himself, and he wasn't meeting those standards. So he projected onto me, and because of that, I've definitely lived my life always feeling like I'm not good enough. You know, like put simply, this is the best reference I can use is like, you ever watch like Supernatural or Lion King even?
Yeah.
You know how there's always that concept of the younger brother kills the older brother? Constantly reminds me of that. Like literally over the course of my life, it's just like always a reminder of like, oh yeah, you're unreliable. Oh, I gotta rely on my own. Oh, you're eventually gonna kill me. Like it's just like,
right.
Eventually you feel this desire to prove him wrong. Like no, I can be there. And I'm 5 years younger, and when I'm 10 years old, and you need me to be there. How the fuck am I actually supposed to be there for you? And then when I fail, you're like, yeah, see, I was right. You were gonna fail at that. So like,
I definitely,
yeah, exactly. And then as I get older, even put me at 20 years old, and he's 25. But like now we're in college. It's just like, it's this weird dynamic of like him wanting me to need him, but then not. You know what I mean? Like it's like if I think about it in child psychology, I just see it as like I kept getting that negative reinforcement and just seeing myself fail over and over and over and over. And then it created this idea of like, oh yeah, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, it's just not going to be good enough.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's pushed you to find the success that you have with that kind of pressure?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd imagine.
I mean, I've definitely learned to prove it to myself. You know, like I don't need to prove it to him anymore. I don't need his approval anymore. But I've definitely come to a point in my life where I'm like, you know, I know I'm good enough. Sometimes I'm going to feel like I'm not, but I have to remind myself, like, I wouldn't have gotten this far if I wasn't.
Yeah. Getting through it and proving it to yourself and, you know, overcoming the imposter syndrome. What have been some of your tactics or like techniques of like, or ways that you've gotten through those times?
Actually listening to the people around you, because if you have a good network, and that's pretty imperative too, is like having a good network, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
They'll let you know for sure. And I've always been like a team player kind of person anyway. I think that's just because I did have an older brother, so I was always trying to like, you know, be reliable to him. You know, honestly, that might be why I have the Rave Dad aspect too, is just like I was always trying to be reliable to another person. So when I stopped trying to be reliable to that person because it just never was going to work, and I was reliable to other people, I was actually reliable.
Right, because you're on the opposite side of not feeling the reliance and being like, I really need this, and then you're actually able to be like, okay, this is what I needed. Let's try and give this to other people. That's so cool that you're able to turn the tables a little bit.
And that's the thing too. Other people, friends, family, whatnot. Mm-hmm. I was doing more than enough.
Yeah.
But for my brother, it's just he wasn't trying to give me that approval. And again, I'm not gonna say he's a piece of shit for it, but he was probably projecting it onto me. And seeing me be able to actually be reliable in this, that way made him upset. So he just wasn't giving me that approval. And then I go to other people and it's like, oh, this is actually more than enough. Right, and then I started to learn, started to see I can just be me.
Before we get into the next thing,
I
just have one last thing to ask about. For a while, like I didn't even know how to identify my imposter syndrome or like how to, you know, solve my imposter syndrome or get through it. What advice would you give to someone for me, like previous me, or someone who wasn't, you know, isn't sure, like, hey, I kind of relate to what they're talking about, but I'm not really sure if that is what they are, you know, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
If I am experiencing, I know exactly what it is. How do I learn how to overcome it myself?
Take a step back and recognize that you are already in the position that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people who have imposter syndrome, they feel it when they already have the job. Bro, you got the job.
Yeah.
You're there. You're there. It's already yours. When I was acting, or I still do sometimes, but I would audition. Oh, and the auditions, I never felt any fear. But then when I got the job, I'd be like, fuck, why am I here? I can't do this.
Were you identifying as the person going on just the audition? You were just the audition guy instead of like, I'm the guy in this part. Yeah.
I think that might have been what was happening. Like I was killing the auditions, and I was just in my mind. I was like, well, I'm not gonna stress about this. I don't want to give myself this anxiety because this might be 20 minutes of my time and I never see you again, or I do.
Yeah.
And then when I actually did see you, I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Now
I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. And then now it's like, now what I do will actually matter because at the audition, it didn't matter. It wouldn't affect anybody because it all comes down to like how I feel like I'm going to affect them. Cause I feel like that's where imposter syndrome comes from. Yeah. It's the feeling of like, oh, I'm going to fuck this up for you. It's not even about me. It's how am I going to do this? Oh shit. If I like, this is going to fuck up your podcast. This is going to fuck up your movie. God, like all these people are going to like lose their jobs. That's where it all comes from. But like, if you've already booked the role, if you've already, and for the lack of a better term, if you faked your way to the top, you probably weren't faking it then. Yeah. Like that was you.
Yeah.
You know, like you worked your ass off. Like some people are like, oh yeah, I learned how to do this on YouTube. Well, you learned how. Who gives a shit if you had a degree on it or not? You learned and you're applying it. Now, what are you going to do? Like what you do next? Like just do the thing. And if you need help, ask.
Yeah. With that being said, what's your opinion on the fake it till you make it saying?
It's hard. It's hard to say because like I think it is important to fake it till you make it, but like also at the same time, when
it people can add to imposter syndrome though, with how you just explained it.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I feel like nobody actually fakes it. You know what I mean? Right, like if you need to if you're going in an interview, let's just say people embellish. I don't think anybody fakes, but they embellish, and that's okay. I think that's okay because then you can learn and you can figure it out. Like for example, like obviously you can't fake being a doctor. But you can go study the shit out of all these things and then learn. Well, you already studied all the shit out of all these things. Let's simpler example. People who've never bartended before and they go learn how to bartend real fast on like YouTube or a friend, and they fake it in the interview so they can get in there.
Right.
Technically speaking, you didn't fake it. You did learn. You're just very underskilled. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that because now you can either learn it on the job.
Right.
Yeah, you can learn on the job. Or you can go learn more from your friend or YouTube or what have you. The resources we have today so that you don't actually have to fake it are unbelievably high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some physical things that are hard. Like you can't go fake being a top star soccer player, like you're going to have to practice a lot more to fake it.
Yeah. It's all relative depending on what it is. Yeah. Well, I do want to start wrapping up here. We're getting close to time, but I have one more kind of. I just want to talk about like your goals and stuff for the future. What I know you're content creating. I know you've talked about acting and stuff like that, and you said you're still acting a little bit. But what I guess what do you see yourself continuing to pursue? More of the acting stuff long term, or the content creation stuff long term, or like in the next like 10, 15 years, where do you want your career to kind of be at?
Definitely in the content creating space and or entrepreneur and lifestyle space. Sure. I feel like if I had the opportunity to do acting things again, I would, but I don't know. I think I just got burnt out with not having a personal relationship enough with the agent that I had, and like just dropping me in all these auditions, and like I'm walking in, I'm like I look either nothing like these people, so it feels like a waste of my time. Like. They're like cattle calls, and I got sick of doing the cattle calls, like especially with stuff that I've repeatedly said I don't want to go to this audition, I don't want to do this self-tape because there are people like, for example, granted now I have facial hair and my hair is this color, but I'd get sent in for like androgynous roles and I'm like, I'm literally not androgynous. There are people who are actually androgynous or people who gay men. They'd want me to play a gay guy. I'm like, I'm not gay. I can do it. I can play it. But like, there's all these other people who are actually gay who would love to tell this story.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a character and there's a big, juicy, fat storyline, and the fact that they're gay is a small aspect of the story, okay, I'm cool to do that.
Yes.
But if the story is about being gay, I'm not going to be able to relate to that. Yeah, I can't relate to that. Like, I can fake it. I can act it out. And I know that's how the acting world works. But like, so many people, Asian Americans included, in that own space has fought for this representation. So I don't want to take that spot away from someone who has a legitimate story they can tell, because that story, when people find out that they're actually gay and they actually had that story, oh my God, that's gonna do so much for a lot of people.
Yeah. So many people, more people are going to actually be able to fully, authentically connect with that too.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, oh, he's just playing a gay role, you know, it's not actually how his life is. So yeah. That's interesting.
So to circle back, acting, I'd still love to, like, you know, it just depends. And I'm very aware that like doing everything I'm doing with the content, creating space could even put me in a position where I could get a role in the future. Because nowadays people don't even look at your acting resume anymore. They just look at your Instagram. They look at your TikTok.
Dude, I feel like it's like everyone now.
Yeah.
Even in the music space, even for artists and stuff, that's such a big factor.
Yeah. I mean, that's also where I want to end up too, is like I want to be producing more music. But I recognize that like I'm focused on the content space right now. And I'm going to continue to do that so I can push it into lifestyle. So like eventually it's not going to be Nand the Rave Dad. It's just going to be Nand Mahasuwan.
Your life, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be more lifestyle, more travel, more me. And I'm totally open to it. Like, who knows? I could still be doing EDM stuff for the next 10, 15 years. And I'm cool with that. But I definitely want to be open to evolving and growing. Yeah. And having a real connection with my audience. That's why I feel like I'm a man of the people, in the sense that like when I go to festivals and I go out, I try my very best to say hello to everybody and connect with people. Like, I want to know people's names. I want to see how you're feeling, how you're doing right now. Not hi and then go. Like,
yeah.
If I say hi and go, I'm probably drunk. Yeah, probably drunk. Like yeah.
Not in the right mental space to be having a full-on conversation with someone that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but. That's definitely where I want it to all go.
I don't know if you have a vision board. I'm sure you know what one is, but if you don't, imagine that you do. What would be on your vision? Oh, you do have one. Okay, perfect. Yeah. What is on your vision board then?
I'll tell you some of them. Some of them are personal. Some of them are not.
Yeah.
Debt free.
Yeah.
Debt free. Nurturing a better relationship with food and fitness, i.e. 3 meals a day. I struggle with eating 3 meals a day. ADHD brain, I legitimately just forget.
Dude, I'm the same way. Yeah. It's something I've worked on for myself as well.
Yeah. Getting better about responding. Now, this is part of a bigger thought process of like continuing to step into my power and growing my inner power. I've been a very I'm very extroverted and I'm very big personality, but I always held myself back a little bit because I didn't step into, like, I have this power. I know I have this power. I know I have this energy. I know I bring a certain level of energy to the table that nobody else has. I have no doubt about that. But it's taken me a long time to recognize, and this goes back to the imposter syndrome, the relationship with my brother, like that is good enough to show people. You don't have to hold it back. Right. So being better about responding comes to like when I email with people, I will see the email and I need to sit on it instead of, no, Nan, just respond. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to respond. They're not going to be like, fuck off, or they're not, if I have a grammar error or if I say this or that, don't get me wrong, learning how to professionally email, that's still a skill that people have to develop. And I'm slowly learning to develop it more and more, but it's like, you don't need to be so stressed about this particular email in this moment. Like, it's not that deep. Right. Nothing's that deep.
Right.
Like, it's just an email. It's just a conversation to move something forward or an idea forward. And again, to circle back again, that idea is allowed to have. You're allowed to have this idea. Like, I'll continue on this in a second, but to keep it really, really short, Okeechobee was a big shift in my mental health and a very big shift in trusting in myself. Because before Okeechobee, I reached out to a whole bunch of different companies and I did outreach because I wanted to work some companies and try to get paid. Right. Like, let's be honest here. Like, I wanted to get paid so that I can afford to go. Because like a lot of people think, oh yeah, you're not actually Raven. No, I am. It's just, it's expensive. And like, if I can get work done there so that I can afford it, why the fuck not?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that being said, a lot of these people, programs, whatnot, they'll be like, here's our ambassador program, And once upon a time, I would just say yes. I'm like, cool, let's do it. But now I'm like, this is a great program, but let me offer you something. Let me offer you a different idea, because now I'm recognizing I do have a voice. I do have this platform. And so far, at least, most of these companies were all like, yeah, let's do it. And in my head, I'm like, wait, what? Really? Like, really? Like, actually? Because like I was shitting bricks when I sent all these emails back because I thought they'd be like, no, like if you don't want to do our program, then it's a no.
Right.
I'm slowly realizing, and to circle back, better at responding is like, I'm allowed to respond with a rebuttal. I'm allowed to respond with, this is what I want. This is what or let me rephrase that. This is what I can actually offer you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want. Can we meet somewhere in this middle ground? Like, I'm not saying no to your program, but like, let me show you what I can actually offer you first. And let's back it up. Maybe have one deal going. And then after that first deal, second deal, what have you, I'm like, cool, this is where I want to be.
Yeah. And if they see enough value in you, that, I mean, a lot of people, most companies are going to probably want to work. If they have interest in working with you, they're going to have interest in working something out that works for both them and you.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's what I'm learning is like, that's what I'm learning too. It's just like, if you want to work with me, then you'll actually work with me, not your way or the highway. Let me. I'll blow through these. I know this is like like going long, but I want to make $10K, 10K in the span of 1 month. I don't know which month. Doesn't matter to me. Goal. Yeah. Like that's just within the span of a month. 30 days, I want to make 10K. And if it's like I made like 17 on day one, and then 30 days pass, I like that first day passes. Cool. I gotta start all over again, or whatever amount that I've had within that 30-day range. That one I accomplished already. Fuck yeah. DJ a show. Not the money one. DJing a show.
Hell yeah.
DJing a show. I DJed a show like for Plurentine's Day. It was an event that I threw with Peaking Podcast. I just DJed like a little moment with my friend, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Counting it.
There's a travel show that I'm working on that I'm gonna keep under the wraps because I'm still working on it. And Forbes 30 under 30. I wrote that one. I wrote that one down like maybe 3 days ago because it just hit me. I'm like, wait, I could actually do that, but I need to get on it. So I'm aiming to be Forbes 30 under 30.
How do you know? How much time do you have?
28.
Okay.
28.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I'll be 29 by August, and I was looking into it. You have to be 29 by December 31st of that year to be able to apply for Forbes 30 under 30.
What's the criteria?
I think it's off the top of my head, it's like 30 most influential or 30 most like you brought the most to your particular category, entrepreneurship, to that category.
Got it. Which, yeah, I mean, in the EDM space, I would say you're getting at least, you're touching into that top creator space. So
that's that's definitely what I'm aiming. And if I don't hit 30 under 30, well, then I'll aim for 40 under 40.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a crazy goal, but I'm sure, I mean, go all out for it, man. I have faith in you. Yeah. Awesome. Well, before we absolutely wrap up, do you have any questions for me?
How did you get into all of this?
Oh, man. I had an idea of starting an FM radio station, and obviously starting an FM radio station is a lot of money for hardware and broadcasting shit. So I was like, well, I had a life coach at the time, and we were kind of chopping it up over this idea. And I was like, well, he was like, well, what can we do now? And then the idea of a podcast came to be, and it's been, I'm in year 3 now. And yeah, it's what it is now. It was not. It's similar, I guess, because I'm talking to the people in the industry, but it doesn't really have anything to do with like an FM station or anything like that. It kind of took on a life of its own, and I'm super happy with it. So
it evolved kind of just in its own way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of in short form. That's kind of what happened. I've always had a knack for public speaking and stuff like that, and I've always liked talking to people. So, just like, why not start a podcast? And then as soon as I started the podcast, it was during COVID 3 years ago, and I feel like so many more people. You guys started a podcast, like so many more people started a podcast, not only in our space, but just in the world in general. Podcasts are exploding. So yeah. So I kind of got in that thing
right now.
Yeah, I kind of got in at like right before all that kind of started, so I came in at a really good time, I think. So
yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
I feel it. Public speaking.
Yeah, I gave a speech, actually. I was talking to my roommate about this the other day. I gave a speech at my 6th grade promotion, so it dates all the way back to like elementary school. I've always loved talking to people. So
fun fact, same. Like, you know how there's always those presentations in this class or that class, and I'm always the one who I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll do it. I was always, because I was a shy kid, actually, but I didn't want to be. Like, I knew very early on,
so like, I don't
want
yourself.
to be. Yeah.
I
knew very early. I didn't want to be shy. So I always threw myself in every possible opportunity to be in front of a crowd, to be like, I will do the talking. Because then I just won't be scared. But now I have that weird twist of like, put me on a stage with 50,000 people, not scared. Talk to one person,
Yeah, yeah, because it's more of an intimate, and the intimacy factor goes into. Yeah. That's cool though.
I do love the intimacy factor though.
Yeah, me too. Then I think that's what the whole psychology degree and everything. I'm sure that relates to that for you. Where can listeners find you and follow along your journey?
You can find me on Instagram at Nand Mahasuwan, TikTok Nand the Rave Dad. Started posting on Facebook too, actually. So Nand the Rave Dad's on there too, and I do have a YouTube channel, also Nand Mahasuwan or Nand the Rave Dad, and I'm working on it. There's not a lot of content on there yet, but I do have some stuff I'm preparing and putting together. It's just editing's a lot. Editing is a lot, you know. And then of course you can find me on my podcast with my group of friends, the I'm Peaking podcast, on Spotify and all the above.
I'll link all that in the description as well. Final question. I ask this at the end of every interview. If there was one piece of advice that you could give yourself when you first got into acting, content creation, the career path that you've kind of gone down, what advice would you give yourself at the early phases of that?
Post.
Just
keep posting. Being consistent. Honestly, I know that's a piece of advice that's been beaten like a dead horse, but like just keep posting. Mm-hmm. Even stuff that you didn't think is good or you question. I've had videos that I didn't post for months, and then finally I'm like, you know what? I just need to post something, and it blows the fuck up.
You're like, damn it, I should have done this months ago.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. Some ideas, if you can tell it's just not quite ready yet, okay, yeah, you can wait on it until it's ready. Mm-hmm. But there are some ideas where you're just like, oh, I just don't want to post anymore because it doesn't feel right. Like my acting's changed, or my skill. Post anyway.
Yeah.
I'll put it like this. Okeechobee was the first time I posted picture carousels. I never do pictures. It's just
I'm not
100% comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And that first day, only one photo was good in my opinion. The rest were like kind of meh. Of just that first day, that posted better than anything else. You know. And then the second day, third day, like they still did really, really well. But it's like, oh, I look silly in that one. This one's kind of blurry. It's real. Still posted. It's still posted. It's still real. Like, and honestly, you're gonna be your biggest critic. You're gonna be your own biggest critic. So just post. Just get it all out there. Just keep going.
Yeah, it's same thing. I mean, I'm sure you've learned in music production too. That's a big part of this show. But music production, same way. Finish songs. Just finish freaking songs. Even if it's
be consistent.
You can sit there and tweak shit all day, but just finish. Yeah.
I will say for the people starting out with producing songs, like early on. This is one of the things that my teacher taught me, or because I took some classes and whatnot. Don't save your projects at the very, very beginning. When you're not making a song, you're just learning how to make a beat. Don't save the project.
Yeah.
Make a beat, delete it. Make a beat, delete it. I know Ableton will forcibly make you save it, but delete it. Because the reason is Ableton and these DAWs, they're the same thing as an instrument. When you're like, 10 years old playing the guitar and you're fucking it up, is someone recording you and you're forced to watch over you fucking it up over and over? No, you just do it again and you do it again and you do it again until you're good. And then you remember and you're like, I'm recording this.
Mm-hmm.
But Ableton forces you to remember every single time you fucked up or every single time that is not the greatest. Now you got 100 copies of you and you're like, I just suck, because that's all you're seeing.
Right.
You're only seeing your not so great skills because it just hasn't caught up to your taste in music yet.
Right. That's smart. I've actually never heard anyone put it that way. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was great talking to you and great hearing a little bit more about your story. And hopefully we can do it again soon. For sure. Thank you for having me. And hopefully I see you at another event soon. Absolutely. Yeah? Yes, absolutely. Because you're in where are you? Riverside? No, I'm actually in Hayward. So right. Oh, you're in Hayward. I'm from Newark. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Technically, I'm from Newark, California. Yeah. That's why I was able to like drive up on a whim to KZAP. Yeah. I'll definitely. I'm kind of trying to get my finances in order because I'm going to be going to Icon Collective hopefully by the end of the year. So I will be actually moving down to LA. Thank you. Like you're already in? They're basically waiting on me. So it's basically just I'm waiting for finances to kind of get together. Yeah. Fucking congrats. Like Icon Collective is actually personally one of my goals eventually. Yeah. In terms of music. Right. Last thought, because I tangent. I'm so sorry. Yeah, last thought. when it comes to me and making music, like I don't really care if I end up playing, in my bedroom or in a club or at EDC. I just want to make music for people. Yeah. I want to make like people have a good time, make people smile, cry, all the above. So like Icon Collective is definitely one of those things where I'm like, I don't need to do it right now. Yeah. I can do it someday so I can get those skills so that, you know what, maybe I'm a bedroom DJ. Maybe I'm a Twitch DJ. Maybe I'm someone's like, hey, come play this show at EDC. I'm like, cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
It'll always be the same. Like, fuck yeah, I'll do whatever as long as I get to keep doing the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I'm down in LA, I'd love to hang out with you. Hopefully I'm there by the end of the year. So anyways, thank you. Have a great day. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, have a good one, brother.
Right, that about wraps up this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please drop us a like and subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date on all of our new episodes. If you want to find out more information on our guests, you can find all of their information down in the description. Have a fantastic week.